Okay, before we start this video, I'm gonna start by saying that God is real. I'm gonna start that off the rip. God is real. God is real, but it's not like you guys think. It's not what you think. It don't work the way you think it work, right? Um, it's the planets are aligned in a certain way that in the Bible, when they speak of let us make man in our image and in our likeness, the planets are God itself. They're not just no rocks that's just floating through the sky. The planets, there are 7 planets for a reason. Hence why it's 7 days of a week. The gods are in all of us. We got to know that. We got to know that we all have a fraction of God in us. Every last one of us is just expressing itself through different bodies and different people. But it's all one vision. Believe that. The Bible itself, the Jesus story and everything that's in that is not just about one man. The Bible is real. The Bible is based upon consciousness. It's based upon what we can. Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John is based upon the 4 elements of life: earth, air, wind, and fire. That's what that's based upon. So once we understand that, now when we dive back into the Bible, we see that when we study these stories is just different aspects of our consciousness. If you go through it, you'll see in the different gospels that each gospel is a different. It was talking, speaking of Jesus doing different things. When they spoke of him turning wine into water, that was the aspect of his emotional consciousness. Then when they speak of him in different scriptures doing different things, that's an aspect of our consciousness as a whole. That's why it's important to pay attention what you take in, what you're listening to, what you watch, and things of that nature, because all that stuff is storing up in your conscious. And if you're not careful, it will start to manifest in real life. That's why it's important for us to not watch all the negative, watch all the shooting videos, and this one got killed, and this one happened to this one. Now it's all entertainment, and we human. We all taking a little bit of it, but you got to know how to, get out of that, and you got to have techniques and different things and rituals you do to put your mind back on because information is key, and we do got to know a level of what's going on in the world. We do got to know that. We can't get around that. We got to pay attention to what's going on. So I get that part. But indulging in that low vibration and that negativity all day, all day, all day, that's not what we're supposed to be doing, because it has an effect on our consciousness. Yeah, you know. But my thing is this, it's all about uplifting the community, uplifting the consciousness of other people. Because when you understand that consciousness plays a role, and when a certain spot or a certain energy or certain even cities is, everybody selling drugs, doing drugs, prostitution, and all this degeneracy going on, what happens is prostitution and all that negative energy, all the energy that's going on in that city becomes a manifestation. And anybody that come to that city is easy, if they're not spiritual, steadfast, and on their square, it's easy for them to indulge in the debauchery of that city, because collectively that city have an aura over it from all the negative conscious collective consciousness that's going on in that city. You know, we gotta get past that way of thinking. We gotta get past that low vibration degeneracy. Now, we all grew up in it, hip hop culture and urban cultures and things of that nature. We all did it. We all come from it. Okay, I get that. I was a victim of it myself. But like they say, you know better, you do better. You know. It's all about the upliftment of the community. Each one teach one. Steel sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron. That's the way it goes. You know, you got to get past this, man. And I knowing what I know, sometime, when you come to this awakening, what happens is you get to the point where, damn, I wish I'd have knew this 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. But then you realize everything you went through it prepared you for now. That's why you learning and you know the information now. It was all a test. It was all a test. It was a big old test, a big old game, quote unquote. And the whole goal is to getting back to what we know, getting back to what once we come from, which is the stars in the universe. And God, the I am that I am, the all. That's the goal. Getting back to that because we all come from that, but we come here with a blank state. We come here with erased memory of where we came from. You see? So once we get back to slowly but surely developing that knowledge, then higher dimensions start to open up in your consciousness. You start to unlocking certain things. You start to unlocking certain memories, certain codes that was engraved in your DNA starts to come. You start to remember things. So life becomes more not easy, but it becomes more directive. You can you can pretty much once you start to get downloads. You start to connect with your higher self, and what happens is you're able to connect with directing your life more efficiency. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be trials and tribulations. That's the way it works. That's how we get to the next level of things, through trials and tribulations. Without trials and tribulations, no pain, no gain. There's always going to be a void spot or a void season before we get to the next blessing. It's like a graduation. You got to go through a period of courses, a period of obstacles, and a period of situations to get to that next grade level. Then you get tests. After you take the test, then you pass on to the next grade. That's just the way how everything works in life. You know? My thing is just, I look out into the world. My daughter, she 10 now. She becoming, teenager. She getting around the teenage years or whatnot. And I just want to create a world and a level of consciousness and the environment around her that I didn't have. And I know I can do it. And if she listen to me till she 18, 19, 20, and don't be trying to be rebellious, she's gonna be a heavy hitter. She's gonna be a tough young lady. She's gonna be a tough young lady, guaranteed, hands down. But the thing is, we gotta get out of this mind frame, specifically as Black people, that that self and living for self. And I understand and I get it. You can't trust nobody. Everybody on some grimy stuff. Everybody trying to get over and see what they can get out you and this, that, and the third. And I understand that we all go through that. So you gotta keep your guard up and you gotta be defensive when it comes down to certain things and certain people. And I understand that. But the flip side is when we look out into these other communities, we don't see the same. They don't. You know, and I mean, we all crime breeds. You're gonna only do crime on the people you're around. So white folks do crime against white folks the same way we do crime against our own people. The same way Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and Dominicans and so far do crime against their own people. The only difference is, the slight difference is, they know they still have a sense of community, a sense of family. You see, throughout the debauchery, because there's a lot of debauchery go on in those different households too that we don't do. And y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of debauchery going on that we don't entertain in those different households. You know, but we have to get back to uplifting the community. That's the only way we're gonna, create things. And then we gotta look long term. That's another thing. We always, what I'm saying, we have been so caught up in the party and bullshit and that way of thinking that we look at everything as a moment, for the moment, for the moment, for the moment. We gotta start planning for the future. We got to start looking. We got to start looking past our kids and say, you know what? I want to build something that my grandkids could benefit off, and so forth, and so on, and so on, things of that nature. You know, we gotta get, and I just, it's 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 sad, but you live and you learn, and the things that we have to learn. I got the blueprint. I got the game plan. I got the game plan to point us in the right direction for upliftment of our community. First upliftment of ourselves, and it start with connection with the Most High. That's number one. Number two, our family, upliftment of our family. That starts with the respect in the household, respecting yourself, respecting your wife, respecting your children. Excuse me. And simultaneously, they have an utmost respect and esteem for you too as the head of the household. From there, once we get those things established and get a solid foundation on those things in our family, our mothers, cousins, bro, our immediate family, we uplifting each other, having that mutual respect and for each other, things of that nature. Then we push out into the community. We push out and we start helping our community. Helping at the Goodwill, start off donating clothes, start off volunteering for this, different things like that, at the YMCA, volunteering your time, volunteering clothes, volunteering sports gear, what I'm saying, basketballs, footballs, things of that nature, bats and gloves, baseball gloves and stuff like that, you know. That's what I'm on. That's my whole thing, man. Just getting back to where we was as a people, back to where we was, just as first spirituality. We got to get back on it because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's a lot of witchcraft, a lot of people, diving into different religions and different spiritualities. And I don't knock them, especially Christianity and Islam, because I know those two hold a lot of power. Even if you were to get into it, read your Quran and read the Bible, it's a lot of wisdom and knowledge that comes from those two main religions. Now, will I tell anybody to get stuck in it? No, because I didn't study pretty much all of them, and I know it's levels, it's levels. It's higher levels to spirituality, it's higher levels to being religiously steadfast and all that. Because I didn't live around different races and different ethnicities of people, and I understand that the Muslims, if you never really live around them, you wouldn't understand that they'll talk that talk, but they don't really walk that walk. You know what I'm saying? They sell pork in their stores and things of that nature. Stuff is that's supposed to be forbidden for Muslims, and Islamic cultures to do. And what you come to realize is, uh, everybody have a stepping stone, or every religion and stuff like that. I feel like it could be a great stepping stone, a great way to open your eyes, a great way to inspire you to become better. So I feel like religions are needed, but to a certain extent, I feel like they need it, but I also feel like they should be inspiring. Where Islam do inspire, do for self, and master your own self. Christianity, not so much, not so much. Catholic, not so much. You know, they inspire you to always depend on an outside source, which is nothing wrong. You need that connection to that outside source. But like they say in scripture, the Most High said, if you take one step, he'll take two. You know, and that's my thing. Actions speak louder than words. I'm a firm believer in a firm action. Action. You got to take action. Don't tell me you love me. Show me you love me. That's my motto. Don't love by me, man. No, show me. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to handle business, show me that I could depend on you. You know, that's how I know you love me. You know what I'm saying? That we need to go, you know what I'm saying? I need you to go, hey man, I need you to bring this to the other side of the sound. This is a business deal. I can't make it. I got to go do this. Can you know what I'm saying? Whether that's your home, whether that's a partner, whether that's your lady, your wife, or your children. Show me you love me. Don't love by me. Don't just be talking the good talk, you know? Because that's how I move, you know what I'm saying? If I got you and I hold you down, guess what? I'm going to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. If I say I'm going to be there for you, hey, look, man, you know, whether I didn't work, whether I didn't did this, whatever the case is, I know my word is my bond, and I try to live by that and stick to that, you know? And I feel like we all should live by that and stick to that. You know, if you say something, you know, now things happen, granted, you know, but for the most part, if you got good intentions and you say you're gonna do something, 9 times out of 10, you want to try to make it your business to do it. Now, if something come up to where you just absolutely, you know what I'm saying, it was inevitable, okay, that's understandable. But some people don't have good intentions. They know they're not going, because it sound cool. Yeah, I got you, bro. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. It sound cool, but they don't really have their intentions not really solid. Like, man, I got, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta, I told bro I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Something else come up. Nah, I told my people I gotta go help him. Take care of this, man. I'm gonna go tighten him up. I told him I'm gonna be there. Ain't nothing, emergency, ain't nothing serious going on. I gotta be there for my people. That's the mentality. That's the attitude we gotta have, man. That's the attitude we gotta have, cause we might be on the verge of World War III. That's another thing, man. What that was, Israel bombed Iran, so we might be on a whole World War III. That's a whole nother situation, This AI is getting out of control. I heard one article I was reading that AI have figured out how to not obey humans or disobey human commands or something like that of that nature. I said, man, but focus on multiple streams of income. Wherever you're at in the world, whatever you got going on, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're self-employed, whether you work for somebody, whatever, don't just get stuck at whether you're making good money, whether you're making minimum, whatever don't get stuck. Because like I told my partner the other day, if you got 5 streams of income, you're able to make your time more efficient. Because for number one, you're not pressed doing one thing because you're not pressed or worrying about getting that money from that one thing. That's for number one. You can be more firm and more assertive with your little business and side hustles or whatever you got going on because you got multiple things going on. Stock market, be good with your hands, learn some trades, learn how to do some lightweight electrician work. It ain't gotta be nothing too heavy, but learn how to wire your light fixture up. Learn how to wire your outlet up. things of that nature. Learn how to wire your ceiling fan, light work stuff, especially every man, especially men. We need to be self-sufficient we need to have skills that we can do with our mind. We also need to have skills we can do with our hands. Plumbing, laying brick, HVAC, learn some computer skills, learn how to efficiently type, you know, uh, learn how to, write grammar correctly, what I'm saying, with this social media era, and this text culture, we, what I'm saying, we short talk, we done got used to that short talk, what I'm saying, and we slang talk. But see, that's it's all right in one section, because you ain't got time to be writing out a whole, being politically correct on with your grammar on every text, which is understood. While at the same time, it dumbs us down to a degree too, from talking and interacting with each other in that way. That's the flip side to it. Everything is a balance. It's a yin and a yang and everything. It's up or down, left, right, good, bad to everything. Male, female, everything have an opposite. Everything is negative. And we know a negative and a positive is the attraction. That's the way it works. But the reality is, each one teach one. We gotta heal before we build. Because if we don't heal, we're not gonna ever build because we're not gonna trust each other. And that's the truth. We gotta heal first ourselves, then our family, then we gotta be disciples and go out and heal the community. That's the only way. The only way. And you gotta have your faith. You gotta be steadfast. You gotta have a solid foundation in your faith. And that's even with the fellas that's married. That's for single. This was for single fellas, married fellas. Don't get so caught up on your woman's emotions. That's one thing I noticed that messes us up a lot. We get caught up. Do for your woman. Make sure everything is taken care of. Your responsibilities as a man, you, the woman, you, the children. Don't get caught up on the emotional swings. Don't get caught up on go and spend a bunch of money just because she feel a certain way. Because we know men are more financially stable than women are. You know what I'm saying? Whether they try to make the argument of women make more money than men in the black community, that's not necessarily true either. But even still, men, we are more simple, we are more complacent, we are more straightforward. Up and down, left or right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too many bells and whistles and shit that come with us. You know. But my thing is this. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do my part. You know what I'm saying? As a soldier of the Most High, I'm gonna stay on my mission, stay on my square to the best of my ability. And like they say, no one man can change the world. No one man can have all that power. But if we collectively come together, guess what? It don't take us. It don't take for one. It don't take for one to be put too much energy into the community. They're putting too much energy into this. And what happens is we start to develop business. Once we get to where we can heal, then we can start to grow and build. Because now we not trying to slime each other. We not trying to be greedy. We not penny pinching. And that's any community. When a community is in a position where it's poverty, it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a lot of negativity because that's just the vibration, and that's what the government know. Govern the mind. That's what government means. They govern your mind. You know, basically with these, even if you add the laws and everything into it, They basically tell the masses what to do. And the whole perception of the red pill is basically just flat out truth. A lot of people have a lot of terminologies and a lot of different definitions and theologies of what the red pill mean, but it's only truth on all four corners, all four levels. That's what the red pill is about. The red pill movement is about. It's about just truth. When it come down to religion, when it come down to government, when it come down to women, when it come down to men, when it come down to the way we do business with each other, to the music we listen to, the movies we take in, to the type of content we consume on a daily basis, is all come down to truth. The internet, I tell anybody, the internet is a blessing and a curse. It's a lot of great information from the internet, and it's a lot of debauchery on the internet. It's all on choice, just like the Most High gave us in the beginning, free will and choice. You know what I'm saying? Whose side are you on? What side you want to partake, what road you want to travel on? That's what it's about.